Thank you all so much for making higher education possible for so many students who deserve this incredible gift and opportunity. You're changing the lives of so many in our community and making the world a better place. I never really imagined I'd be standing here giving a speech like this to anyone. In fact, at one point in my life, I wasn't certain I'd even be here at all. Back in 2011, when I was just 23 years old, my life unraveled all at once. That was the year that life proverbially kicked me in the teeth. I lost my job. I went through a very painful divorce. I lost my home to foreclosure, and I had to file for bankruptcy. I lost everything I had ever worked for. And then, just when I thought things couldn't get any worse, and those of you who have been around long enough know it can always get worse, I ended up in the hospital needing an emergency surgery for a rare congenital condition that was literally killing me from the inside out. I had benign tumors in my small intestine that caused a complete blockage of my digestive tract. Part of my intestines had already started to die, and I'm not being metaphorical when I say that. They were literally necrotizing inside me. The physical pain I experienced was unimaginable. I didn't know it was possible to experience that much physical pain and still live. It was the only time in my life when I felt like death would have been a better option. And it turns out, doctors told me if I hadn't come in when I did, death would have been my only option. I was on the verge of dying from a massive systemic infection from the dead tissue in my abdomen. My life was saved by two incredible physicians, Dr. Harry Gale and my surgeon, Dr. Alan Walters. The surgery was a success, but I ended up spending 2 weeks in the hospital dealing with complications that no one could have foreseen or predicted. I had tubes coming out of places I never knew you could have tubes coming out of. I had drains coming out of my abdomen and my back. I had a nasogastric tube that went up my nose and down my throat, down into my stomach. I had multiple IVs that kept failing. A catheter, which we won't talk about. Let's just say it was a low point for my dignity at every level. I walked into the hospital weighing a muscular 195 pounds, and when I walked out, I weighed an emaciated 145 pounds. I lost 50 pounds in 2 weeks. Emergency bowel resection, 1 star, would not recommend. But what's wild is those 2 miserable weeks changed everything. The misery I endured ended up turning into the greatest motivation I've ever experienced in my life. I had a lot of quiet moments. Sorry. Sitting in that hospital bed, hooked up to machines, thinking to myself, what now? How do I rebuild my life when everything is gone? And slowly something shifted. I started thinking about the x-ray techs that saved my life, the x-rays that saved my life, the radiology techs who took care of me, the nurses and doctors who encouraged me. They didn't just treat my body, they gave me hope. And I thought, what if I could do this for other people? And that was the spark. An x-ray had saved my life, and I wanted to help save other people's lives. I wanted to become an x-ray tech. And that's when I found out Yavapai College had a radiology program. So I took a deep breath, confronted my fear of failure, and I enrolled. But here's what I need you to know. I was terrified. And I really mean that. I was absolutely terrified of failure. I was a first-generation college student. Nobody in my family had ever gone to college. In fact, they actively discouraged it. They told me it was a waste of time, and honestly, after barely graduating high school, I kind of believed them. But I had someone in my life at that time who believed in me more than I believed in myself. That one person made all the difference. That one person encouraged me more than anyone else has ever encouraged me before. So if you have someone like that, give them a call tonight and tell them thank you, and try not to take them for granted. I know it's easy. At first, the whole process felt impossible. I didn't know how to register. I didn't understand financial aid. I wasn't even sure if I could keep up with all the demands. I had no idea what I was getting into. But I decided to go all in, and I started taking my prerequisites for the radiology program. When I finished my first semester with a 4.0 GPA, I legitimately was shocked. I mean, me, a 4.0 student, that was the moment that really started to change everything. In my second semester, I received my first scholarship from the YC Foundation, provided by a very generous donor named Dee Rhodes. I still remember her. I was in awe. Someone who didn't even know me believed in me enough to invest in my future. That support gave me the fuel to keep going and the focus to really dive in even further. The semester after that, I received the same scholarship again. I started to think that maybe I wasn't as incapable as I had once believed. My fears of failure had subsided, and it was replaced by a strong motivation to succeed. Eventually, after 2 years of hard work, I had completed all my prerequisites and was accepted into the radiology program. Then came an email, an invitation to apply for the JCF Healthcare Scholarship, which was a full ride. I applied with high hopes and low expectations. It's a good way to look at life sometimes. And after a week, I received another email from the foundation telling me I was one of the only 2 students that year to receive the full ride. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe what I was reading. I was so overwhelmed with excitement. I remember having the strong urge to do a backflip in my living room. And for the record, I don't know if you can believe this, but I cannot do a backflip. For the next 2 years, I worked rigorously through the program. My instructors were absolutely incredible. They were tough, but they were kind. They wanted us to succeed, and it was their primary goal. That was my entire experience here at Yavapai College. Every instructor I had cared about their students and their success. They made themselves available for anyone who needed extra help. They showed tremendous dedication to their students. My experience here at Yavapai College helped form the foundation for the future successes in my professional career. I graduated all the way back in 2017, seems like a lifetime ago, and I was able to achieve maintaining a 4.0 GPA every semester. But more than the grades, and even more than the degree, I walked away with a sense of purpose and an unshakable desire to give back to the community that had helped me succeed. The community that helped give me an opportunity that no one else could. I wanted to do for others as others had done for me. So I started a scholarship of my own. Just $500 at first, but every year I would donate a little bit more. And eventually I was inspired to make an even larger impact. I wanted to create something that would outlast me and my time here on earth. Something big, at least something bigger than I had ever been a part of. So in 2021, at the peak of the COVID pandemic, I took a leap of faith and turned my scholarship into an endowed scholarship, one that will support students long after I'm gone. Today, with my contributions and the contributions of so many generous people in our community, it's right around $80,000. And that endowment helps support a student every year in radiology. I truly loved my career as an X-ray tech. Every day gave me the chance to help people in some of their most vulnerable moments. and I learned so much from the radiologists, surgeons, and hospitalists that I work beside. Those experiences opened my eyes to how fragile and precious life really is. Very quickly, I became the lead X-ray tech in the operating room, an environment where I really thrived. I think part of the reason was I connected deeply with that role because of my own experience as a surgical patient. It gave me a greater sense of empathy and a deeper appreciation for the work that we were all doing in that operating room. In 2022, I received an incredible career opportunity, and I transitioned out of the medical imaging field and into the medical device sales. I now work in neurosurgery for the second largest spine company in the world. I work alongside neurosurgeons in operating rooms all over the state: Prescott, Phoenix, Scottsdale, Mesa, and Glendale. I've built a career, a life, and a future that I never dreamed was possible. But here's the real truth: I'm not special. I'm just a poor kid from a broken home in Chino Valley, Arizona. A kid who almost died at 23. A kid who nearly failed high school, who didn't believe in himself, and who was terrified of college and who almost didn't go because I had so much doubt and fear. But here's what I've learned. Life changes the moment you stop letting fear control you. I was scared, I was doubtful, but I took action anyways. And that decision, choosing courage over fear, is what changed everything for me. So here's what I want you to remember. You don't have to believe in yourself every second of every day. You just have to take the next step, especially when that next step feels impossible. There will be many times when doubt screams louder than your dreams. You have to move forward anyway. Study extra for the test. Be brave enough to ask for help when you need it. Because let me tell you, the bravest people are those who are vulnerable to ask for help when they need it. Be someone that others can count on. Work hard when no one's watching you. Your comfort zone is your danger zone. The comfort zone has nothing to offer you except for stagnation and complacency. Push the boundaries of what you think is possible and leave your comfort zone as frequently as you can. Because what's waiting for you on the other side of that discomfort is the life you've always wanted. Life is more than just about making a comfortable living. It's about making a positive impact on the lives of the people around you, your community, and the world. The most meaningful moments in my life haven't come from making money or checking off personal goals, as great as they are. They've come from something much deeper: helping others. Time and time again, those are the moments that have stayed with me, the ones that truly changed my life. Nothing compares to the feeling of knowing that you've made a difference in someone else's life. The value that brings into the world cannot be overstated. You are capable of far more than you can possibly imagine. The fact that you're here proves that. You belong here and you have what it takes. What's most exciting is your best chapters are still being written. You just have to keep putting one foot in front of the other. Trust the process. Even when life feels uncertain, every step is an opportunity to plant a seed. And in time, those seeds will grow. They'll grow into blessings, and not just for you, but for the people whose lives you are meant to impact. The work you're doing now will carry forward far beyond what you can see today. Thank you all for letting me share part of my story with you. I truly believe each of you has an incredible journey ahead. So step forward with courage, embrace the opportunities and challenges, especially the ones that are right in front of you, and remember your future is calling. and it's brighter than you can imagine. God bless all of you, and thank you so much for your time.